Hey friends, it's Lori with Farmhouse Stencil Shop. I know you've seen these wall shelves from Dollar Tree. That's what I'm going to craft with today. I actually have two of them and I'm going to make two different projects. The same thing, but just in different colors. So I'm going to open my package and I don't need any of this stuff, so I just want the board. I'm going to paint this board with this red paint. It's like a burgundy shade. What I like about these is they already have those pre-drilled holes. So if you want to attach a wire hanger like I plan on doing, then you don't have to have any power tools for that. I did sand it a little bit because it does have some rough spots. So I am in a collaboration today. It is called Americana, Patriotic Inspired Creations. I'm co-hosting this with my friend Leah at Make All the Things With Me. And we have a very special guest host, and that is Tracy from Tracy's Crafty Creations. And Tracy is a veteran, and we just want to thank her for her service. Thank you so much, Tracy. You are awesome. There is a playlist for this collaboration, and there's a lot of creators who have made wonderful videos, and I'm going to link that in the description of this video. So please be sure to check out the entire playlist and just support all the creators. We appreciate you so much. I have my board painted and I did a second one in this navy blue shade by Crafters Collection. I think that it worked out really well. I did sand these, but this little sander was not doing the job, so I did take these out to my husband's workshop and I really sanded the edges really well. So now I have my boards prepped and ready. I'm going to use Waverly chalk paint in the plaster shade, and I'm going to do some stenciling with that. I'm going to use my Primitive Star stencil. It is a 5x7 stencil, and the star is slightly smaller than that, but it works good on this board. Now the board is approximately 5 inches by 14 inches. So this is going to make a really cute wall pocket. That's what I'm making. I'm making two of them, two Americana wall pockets, and I think they're going to be so adorable. So I'm just stenciling on my stars, and I'll probably speed this up. Can you believe that summer is almost here? We are already doing 4th of July crafts, and when I think of Americana, though, I think of primitive Americana. So I like to do things that match primitive decor, and that's what I think of. I think of like colonial America, Americana, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to use dark walnut stain. It's Minwax, and it's a really good stain to use. It is oil-based, and it works fine. Things dry in about 24 hours as long as you wipe it off really well. I like to stain right over the paint. I think that it gives it a nice distressed look. I am also staining the back and the sides of my board. And then I'm going to place these beside each other so you can see the difference in that bright white star and the antique star. So you can really see that it tones it down a lot and gives it a nice primitive Americana look, and I just love it. So I'm not going to make you watch me stain the other board. Alright, so what I'm doing now is taking this folk art paint in the cinnamon shade, and I'm going to paint these little stars. My stars are finished, and now I'm going to make a couple of flags. This little board that I'm using is a 3x4, and I thought this is going to be a good thing to use to help me measure out some little mini flags. So I'm using cardboard, and I want to position the cardboard where I can put those skewers inside of the corrugated edge. That way I can have a little flagpole. So I'm just using my board, and I'm marking off 3-inch squares, and then I'm going to cut those apart. And then what I'm going to do is take my ruler And I'm going to measure 2 inches. So my little mini flags are going to be 3" by 2". Now I'm going to use this fabric that I feel is going to be perfect for a couple of flags because it is striped. And I'm just going to place my cardboard on top and just trace around the little cardboard pieces with a Sharpie. And it's okay if that Sharpie shows through a little bit because I'm going to distress my flags anyways. I also have this blue homespun that I thought would be perfect for the other part of my flag, so I just cut out a little rectangle of that as well, and then I placed it onto the cardboard just to position it and get the little flags just right, and I think these are absolutely adorable. So the next thing I'm going to do is use my Mod Podge, and I'm just going to Mod Podge the fabric right onto the little piece of cardboard and make these cute little flags. All right, so I'm going to use some bamboo skewers, and these are going to be my little flag poles, and I'm using a little bit of hot glue to hold those into place, and they slide right up into that cardboard, and they make a cute little flag. Isn't that adorable? So this is just an idea, and I'm sure you guys probably know that you can do stuff like this. If you don't have something, you can always come up with a way to make it, right? So now I'm taking those little stars that I painted and I am going around those with the dark sealing wax to just distress those up a bit. And then after I'm finished with that, I'm going to use those bamboo skewers and I'm going to glue those onto the back of my stars. These are all going to be little accent pieces that are going to go into my wall pockets. I'm so excited to be able to put these together. And I'm also cutting those skewers for the flags in half because they do not need to be that long. And now I'm just going to glue the skewers onto the back of the stars. I'm going to use the dark sealing wax and I'm going to grubby up my flags. I usually start with the edges, but I end up going over the entire flag. I don't know why I do that. I always start with the edges though first, or if I'm putting the distressing on something, I usually start with the back side first, and then I get more brave, and then I just grubby the whole thing up. Okay, so it's actually been 24 hours and my boards are a lot drier now, and I can now put these together. I'm going to go ahead and put my hanger on. So for this one, I started with a pencil and I just wound my wire around the pencil. Bad idea. It works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't, but I was just going to go ahead and show you guys that you can do it that way, but it didn't work well for this because the back side of my wire was not laying flat and it was just more of a headache than anything else. So I'm going to show you what worked better than that. And that was simply using your needle nose pliers to just fashion the wire. Now I start close to the edge of the hole and I just work my way around. I don't know if that's an edge of a hole, but I'm trying to explain I started towards the hole and then just worked my way in a circle and just moved it in. And there we have it. I think that it turned out okay. So the next thing I'm doing is taking my burlap and I'm going to cover those holes at the bottom. Now you could use spackling and fill those holes if you wanted to, but since they're going to be covered anyways, I didn't bother with doing that. So I used some hot glue, and yes, I did glue the project to my table, so I had to clean that up a little bit, but all is well and it didn't ruin anything. I'm using hot glue on the front and just gluing down part of it. Then I'm going to take some Spanish moss and put inside the pocket with a little bit of floral foam because I didn't want that floral foam to be seen through the burlap, which it doesn't end up being seen anyways, but I still wanted to use Spanish moss. There, I pulled off the project from the table, as you just saw, and on we continue. I'm going to go ahead and glue the other side down and just use my paintbrush to kind of keep myself from getting burnt there. And then I smashed down that floral foam a little bit so it wouldn't be looking uneven or looking like a square box. I didn't want that to be. So the next thing that I'm going to do is take my florals, and I have some greenery from Dollar Tree. And it is plastic greenery, and I'm not the biggest fan of this greenery, but I chose to use it in this project and it looks great. So I also have these little red berries that also came from Dollar Tree, and they work out well in this project too. So these are all plastic florals, and if you guys watch me, then you know that I do like plastic florals, and these did not disappoint. I think this is going to make a cute little summer primitive Americana wall hanging. And I'm going to take my little stars and I'm placing those in as well. And also my flag, that's going to go in there. And I did kind of fiddle with things a little bit, and I just want them positioned where they look cute and that I didn't want the stars in front of the flag. You know what I mean? And I grabbed some more Spanish moss and put it in there to just fill it up and make it look more full. And now I am taking some homespun fabric and I'm going to make a cute little bow. And for the blue wall pocket, I went with some red homespun. And I'm going to cut those tails off and fray them a little bit. You may have been wondering why I didn't choose to wrap the burlap around and have it closing in the back. I decided to put these cute little buttons on the front, and I just thought it would be just something extra, you know. I'm just being a little extra there. And now I'm taking my dark sealing wax and I'm brushing it onto that homespun fabric because it was a little too bright for me, and I think that grubbing it up a little bit just tied the look all together. And I'm going to finish this off with a cute little rusty star in the center of my bow. And I'm going to do the whole thing again with the red wall pocket. I did all the same steps, added my burlap and my Spanish moss. I added my floral foam and my florals. And of course, I added my flag and my stars. And for this one, I ended up using blue homespun for the bow. I definitely wanted to use the red for the blue wall pocket and the blue for the red wall pocket. And I added the buttons. And I think that these turned out super cute. Let me know what you think of the two. Which is your favorite? Do you like the red one better or do you like the blue one? And here is a picture for you. I'm Lori with Farmhouse Stencil Shop, and if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell for notifications. And I just want to remind you that this is part of a collaboration, Americana Patriotic Inspired Creations, and there is a playlist linked in the video description. Thank you so much for watching.